Hey, welcome to this project. What we're going to be doing today is assembling a Duender. So we have our set of instructions from the Duender GitHub, the manual produced by one of our compatriots. We looked at it. I literally have the picture here, which I'm going to take the camera and show you. We have the parts you're supposed to have. You're supposed to have the 4040s, the 2040s, 2040s, and 220Es. And you can see here, kind of lining it up, we got the 4040s, the 2040s, 2020, 2020, and I have apparently a 2040 instead of an extra 2020. So that last part we may not do today until I go and cut a 2020 extension, but we're going to go ahead and follow the instructions, and you can attend with me today and find out how it goes. So the first step on page 8 of the instruction manual is to prepare a 4040 side with 11 empty slots shown as below. Okay, so the only T-slot device that we have that does not have feet here, we have one of those. So these all have feet. Okay, so it looks like I need to be careful because it doesn't have this is the base structure. So I want to have the feet down. So what I'm doing, it's also got these nice little limb caps, which I think I might need to pop off just to make sure. You never know. So I'm going to go ahead and take them off and save them. So first steps first. Meanwhile, I'll be eating my lunch while I'm talking to you because I just got some chicken and I'd like to eat it and not be hungry. So there's only one of these caps on each of them. Don't know why, but there is. That was the way it was designed, I guess. So just pull those off. May need them later. They're not on there that hard. I'm just they're on there a little bit snug. So I'm going to use this and use my little nail here. There it is. They pop right off. Now, in my previous video, I was talking about how all my parts were dirty from the one printer. I've gone ahead and used a little bit of cleaning solution and white rags, and I've cleaned them off. So you can see here, there's some holy boards here for how they were designed. So it says we are going to take 11 of the T-slots. So I bought them from AliExpress. I bought a kit. Kit comes kind of like this bag right here, little bag of parts. Comes with the angle brackets, the metal angle brackets that we're going to be using. And it also comes with the nuts that we need. And in here, or should be in here, this bag that I've already opened apparently is missing those T-slot nuts because the T-slot nuts are right here. Okay, so per the direction, you need to have one at each corner. So that's 4 slot, 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 slot. Put this down a little bit. So here, 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 and here. That's what it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and pull these parts out right here. And we're going to go ahead and say, okay, T-slot goes in. That's one. They fit in snug. You can't really rotate these ones in, which is good because these are meant to hold the frame together strongly. All right. So that's good. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it says it wants me to have 3 of these nuts in here for attaching the Z-axis. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in now. So it looks like the side right here, it gets 1 on this aisle and 2 here per the direction. So we got those in there. Got them in here. They're going to free for all. They're not going to fall out because they fit snugly. We got those right there. Now we're not going to do this super tight and square it up perfectly because I want to make sure everything fits together, and a little bit of flexibility while you're doing that makes sense. I do have some T-squares and everything else, so once it's in the final tightening stage, I will definitely be making sure it's the perfect 90 and everything else. But for the first part, we're good. All right, so first prepare a 40-40 side. Oh, each. So that's 1. Okay. So we're going to do that again. So we know we got to put two in the middle, just to make sure. It's just the easiest way. On top, right? Hey. And we go there. 1, 2. Now the question is, should work. And check the next directions because it says each. It says the same way. I want to make sure when I'm attaching this. Yeah, I see. That I have no issues with the attachment. I see what's going on there. Yep. Okay. Shouldn't have a problem. Because the base, you're going to attach these to the side, on each side, right? So these are the backstops is what's going on here. So that's what this is, it looks like. So when we attach this, it should not prevent us from doing it from somewhere else. Because once these are all screwed together, it will be pretty hard to disassemble them without taking everything apart. Which is a pain in the butt and you don't want to do. So hope you all enjoy my video. I wanted to have a from start to finish assembly. I'll probably make a fast version of it in the future, but we'll make sure we're good to go. Okay, so I have done, again, I'm following a set of instructions. Insert T-slots into the 4040B. Okay, so we have, again, those are the ones in the middle. And I'm going to open up my chicken, mashed potatoes, while I'm thinking about through this. So we've got this one done. Oop, piece rolled up. Make sure they're done. Push them back a bit so they don't roll out so easy. I will move them back to the position they need to be in. But this allows me to move it a little bit easier without worrying about them immediately falling out. I push them in. Okay, we got those two pieces right there. Cool. Now we take two of these. And they're saying put 2 nuts in here. Now, there was some instructions about how the ones with the holes for the PUS power supply is. I think this has to point inward or something special. So I'm going to double check that because there's a note. Yes, they want it to face inward. Make sure the holes for power supply are inside the back. So when we have this piece, it goes like this. So it's inside. That's fine. It does look pretty good there. So we got the one right there. All right, get that one in. Now I'm going to go ahead and do both power supplies since we have 2 ones so that they're all in the same spot as well, because we'll find out in instructions they tell me to do something different. Okay, got those. All right, that's the second one of those. All right, so making sure that everything is flush and square before tightening. Well, no tricks. Okay, I also got to do the fronts because, that's fine. So now there's metal screws here. This is where the motor mounts were previously. Now, the way it's arranged, this is not where they're going to be in the future. We have a Z motor mount in the middle and in the back. So these parts are no longer going to be used for this. So it doesn't matter if this is the top or the bottom. I'm going to keep in the bottom just because I want to. But that's fine. So it does help me delineate which one's the front and which one's the back. Okay, so that's one package of 40 parts, and I've mostly used them just on the uprights and the base. So now, what it's basically telling me to do is I have to assemble everything, right? So first, we're going to eat a little mashed potatoes because that's in the plan. If it's not in the plan, it should be in the plan. Mashed potatoes makes everything better. Now, I ate the fries already, so, I'm an equal opportunity potato eater. Eat the fries in the car. Popeyes is not my sponsor, but you know, it is the closest chicken place. And I do love the biscuits. Okay. This table is pretty flat. It's wood. It's been beaten up. Pretty flat. Now, I do have, I just rolled this, and I shouldn't have, these feet. That are going to create a problem for me. Because I just let them slide out. So I have to go get my piece that slide out and redo this. Because I was talking and not playing smart. Okay, so we got this. We have that bag of parts that I just had. Here's the angle brackets. Yay, angle brackets. These are nice. They've got the nice little dot here so you can see, stop it from going where it's supposed to go. Then we got our screw. So let's go ahead and get some of these screws together, shall we? All right, so they are using, they're not 2.5, they're probably 3s. So we're looking for the 3. Here's the 3. Good, nice structural base. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to put this sucker in here. Just get it loose in there. Not a lot of tightness. Just get those pieces on. Now, I could have used the 3D printed ones. I chose to use the metal ones because I wanted to make it least amount of errors I can do. Now, these can provide you with a lot of play. Make sure that they've got the little guide screw on there to help you make sure it's on there. I'm not an expert by any means. I am following the instructions. I know a little bit about CAD. It can be dangerous, but I am not like some of these great guys out on our channel and the Erebus Discord about the Duender program. They're very friendly, very helpful, and been putting up with my endless questions. And I appreciate them a great deal. So now we got those on there. Let's go ahead and get these on. So get these square pieces on. All right. I'll make that. So I want to be able to slide it so it's, you know, on there snug and not perfect. And the main point of this is to make sure they don't slide off. Oops, what am I doing? Silly me. All right, so we got the little T on here. Make sure they're pointing because the purpose is to create a nice, perfect 90. Support that 90 so that when we attach these, there is no issue. As you can see, I'm being very slow, methodical, starting from side next. I'm not putting them in super tight because I plan to move them. I plan to adjust them because, you know, it's not going to be perfect. Once it's perfect, that's when we start tightening incrementally to make sure there's no, may have to put some wedges in or something to make sure it's all perfectly square. Most of my problems will probably be solved by linear rails. You can see some of these I already put too tight on, so I got to loosen a tad. Okay. So we now know that's together. Cool, right? So this is the back. See, you gotta be careful. You don't want these things sliding off on you, because they will if they're too loose. My bad. So now I've got to fix it and make sure that they're back on there. Come on, get in. All right, so a little bit of tightness there. A little bit of tightness there. Tighten these right here just a tear so they don't slide out on me. All right. Got those in there. Using the flush of the table. How flat it is. I'm trying to make sure it's perfectly as smooth as I can get it. And it's a little magnetic, so it's a little fun there. All right. All right, there we go. So we get one in, get the other one in, and then we slowly tighten them because the T's here, sorry for the video, will be very difficult to arrange. Don't do it too tight because then you won't be able to get the other one where you need it to go. All right, so that's my understanding. Could be wrong. And I welcome commentary. Oh, my little lid might have caused a little jigger. All right, so now I'm going to loosen this one up because it's tilted. You can see it. And that was probably because of how I had to. All right, make sure it's flush. Make sure it's flush. Press it against the table. That's what we were talking about. Add some movement. Movement is not a bad thing while you're assembling. It's a horrible thing once it's assembled. All right, so now I will tighten these a bit just so it's not easy to mess up. There's wobble you want, wobble you don't. Okay, so that's the first part. Now we note this has got the holes here. It's flush on the edge, which is great. So the next part we want is not one of those. What I was saying there is another copy of the ones with holes in it. All right, here it is. What we want, oh, look, is, all right, let's put this here. Okay, get those screws in where we want them. You may not have noticed, but I felt something decide to slide. One of my pieces slid back out on me, so I gotta be careful. Now we'll note here, the piece I killed on is right here because it's got the other thing right there. So I'm gonna loosen this up a bit. It's gonna drop down. That's perfect. Now we got it aligned, but it's not T, it's squared. This is me just getting it together. Right now, I'm gonna make sure it's flat. Don't know if you noticed that little jigger when it went whoop. When I press down tight, make sure it's flush instead of tilted. See this? The weight is causing it to tilt. So make sure you're pressing down. I've got a lot of force down here in the back. Now I'm tightening the nuts here. This is the kind of motion you want to be able to have to adjust. Now, a lot of people be like, where's my square and everything else? I'm like, it's my first one I'm building. So we're looking, and does it look like it sits flat? It does. Oh, I got a little weight on here. That's tilting it, but yeah. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to get a spoon, and I will be right back. You guys take a look at this and think what you think. Because you're the group. Thank you for bearing with me while I did that. Okay, so that's one side of the Duender. The inner program was a bed swinger. Duender becomes a 4XY. A number of parts needed to do that, and we'll be getting to those. You'll notice here we have these two-way connections right here, which I'm going to fix again because it slid off on me. Put this in here. Loosen it here so I can get the slide in there. I could have just unscrewed it, which is what I'm going to do because it's just being a pain in the butt right now. Oh, there it goes. Now I'm going to tighten it back. Oop. Make sure the angle bracket is pointing in the right direction, i.e. towards the direction you want it to go, and we're good to go there. So I'm going to move this aside, and we're going to replicate what I just did with this other piece. So to make it easier, I'm going to start on this upper up bar because it's just easier that way. I could actually, now that I look at this, the way this is going to work, I'm going to move these pieces down here and rotate the piece so that the angle piece, the power supply piece, is facing the interior current. Just the way I know it's going to do. So that way I'm following the instructions. Because granted, you don't have to have all 4 pieces, the power supplies. That's not what the instructions say. But, you know, we might as well follow the instructions as best we can so we can always recover easier. And the instructions say to make sure the power supply ports are pointing in. So, okay, now we have this, and we can see that I had it a little too tight, a little too down. So I'm going to lower it. Lower the looseness. Get those rails underneath. Now the problem with this is I do not want it all the way to the bottom. I'm double checking something because I think I screwed up on the other one. Yes, I did. I can fix it. That's the good part, but the way I did the other one was incorrect. We're going to fix that because I put the pieces on top instead of along the edge where they could slide like this. So I'm going to fix that in a second. Maybe that was my way. I thought it was better than the instructions. So, you know, fun stuff. So the issue here is trying to make sure that this piece here is flush there. Because you don't want it to be loose. Trying to get the hole. You know the whole game of getting the hole? Happy Gilmore? Alright, this gives us a hole, I don't know, 5-7 centimeters or more space to travel. So it's kind of critical to make sure it's right. I noticed that I did something there where I tightened the one screw. Now I'm turning it up so I can tighten the other screw. Look and see what we got going on here. It looks pretty flush. but you'll see there's a little bit of a gap there. So we need to make sure we can recover that. And we can. So you can see there, I just managed to tilt it. Not a good idea. So I'm going to let it go. Loosen this up again. Strength is not your friend here. You definitely don't want to bend these. All right. So I got some more of these T-nuts in here. I guess I'm going to set them up individually from now on, because I'll be doing this for some other projects. So we want to make sure that's good. Okay. Now let's flush and push and make sure that it's perfect, so I can get it. Human eye, human motions. You see I'm taking extra time on this one because when I did this one over here, I made a mistake. So we're going to fix that in a second. We're going to fix that now. All right. All right. You can now see what I'm doing. I got this flat here. Got this flat here. Trying to make sure that's good. Okay. A little bit painful to me. Make sure we got that in there. Okay. Now we look at it. Looks pretty much flush as we can get. All right, that's good. Now we do the same thing to this other piece. Correct it because I made a mistake. So loosen it again. And just slide it down. So I got it all the way down so it's flush on the table. Now we're going to move it up a bit, but this will help me put the 2 screws I can put in where we want it, so it's a whole bit flush up. These are, you have the screws that go into the 40-40, I'm tightening first, and then I'm going to go back and tighten 2 screws for the upright. So it's still there, but it's now fixed. And now what I'm going to do here is make sure it's aligned as best as I can make it. Right. Probably like this, so there's no gravity coming in the way. All right, now that's good. So push it back, the screw back as far back as I get it, so it leverage and everything else works. Check this other side. Rotating it. Check, make sure it's as flush as possible in case it needs to go back a little bit. Turn like you see me doing. There it is. It's flush as I think I can get it. We will be going back through with the 90 and everything else to see if I have to tighten it. Okay, so now that one is fixed back to the other style. Yay. Okay, so that one's done. Going back to here. All right, now we dropped all these lovely guys by accident and we moved it. So we'll put those back in. No worries. It's part of the process. So I'm tracking top because it's important to have the ones in the middle because you need them. And put them in after you put it together. It undoes all the effort you just put into making sure it's straight and square. So again, I'm looking at my instructions. Right. And I just messed up. Okay, so those three go on the top. So 2 on the outer side, as far as I can tell, and 1 on the inner side. So the piece is going to face like this with the other piece, right? So this side, you're going to have it like this. So you're going to have these here facing in. So you're thinking about it dramatically as to how this is going to fit. Visually, anyway. Okay, so I got the 3 pieces in. Means I now need to put these 2 pieces in. Yep. All right. And I need 2 more pieces down the bottom to attach for where these things attach to the. Oh, well, that's a problem. So I need 2 pieces on each end. And I didn't have them, so now I do. You got the 3. So now it's got the 2 on the top and the 1 here, but it's also got this extra piece for the top. This, I need to have 2 of these in here for each rail because that's the connector from this side and this side. All right, so now, all right, we're good there. So we're going to go ahead and start this process again. We have this lovely piece right here. We have this lovely T right here. We're going to attach it here so I don't have to play games while I'm trying to figure it out. Barely any pressure there. Too much. I need to be able to slide it. Just a hair. All right. Now we have this. Again, we're going to use the flat table to make sure it's square, or at least the start of the square. And yes, I am probably getting roasted in the comments, if I have comments. But I hope you all enjoy this lovely live video. All right, stop. It slipped off, a little loose. All right. So I'm going to slide them back on. But I'm going to do it from the top because that's fine. It's a little easier for me. Okay, it's good for you. Okay, got the fingers. All right, that looks good. Get the screw in there. get it started. Good. Get a screw in there. Now we can tilt it a bit. All right, it's now in there. However you want to tilt the screw, who's boss, it's up to you. All right, so now we got them loose in there, you can see. Wiggle it. We're going to very carefully make sure this is flush. Little piece of turd. Be careful. It's still loose, so it'll come undone if you're not careful, like mine just did. So that goes there. Those two, I don't know why the two of them slid out, but they did. I am not an expert. This is not a video clip of me being perfect in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so let's get this back in here. There's a couple ways to do that. I don't want to risk ruin if I don't have to. That's half the battle. So I'll get that in there. I'm on you. All right, cool. Secret here is I know that these T-screws are going to be about the same height as the gap I'm trying to put in, so I put them here. So I could potentially get this where it needs to go. Okay, and that one's tight. Now we know the table's flat. Try to make sure it's flat on the table. Just pressing straight down. Try not to press anywhere else. And that's around the screws. Can you imagine trying to do this with an angle? Allen key? Yep. Okay, so we're going to look at this. This looks pretty square to me. So, go through here and make sure it's tight and not get moved. Okay, that's good. We now have that done. And we have these screws in here, which, oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, I was good. I'm good. So I have the three loose on the top. I'm supposed to do two in this row, one in this row. And I've got one for here, one for here, one for here, one for here. I was looking at it like I thought I messed up. I didn't. Now, look at this. And it's not messed up because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I got the 1, 2 there. So that's supposed to look like that. Cool. Now, while we're doing this, let's go ahead and get these other pieces together so I can be prepped for when we're ready to assemble it some more. I have all the cross pieces ready. So that means that I just put this in here. Some people may say this is a good idea. Some people feel this is a bad idea. I don't really know. This is just my theory on how to assemble this without going crazy. So we got those. All right, so we got those in there. Cool. Now we got these. They face the opposite direction because you're going to tie it into a structural piece and it's going to hold it together. So you don't want them in the wrong spot. Like you don't want them facing the opposite direction. That's just straightforward. All right, so we got those all kinds of put together. This is actually making me feel pretty good. We're doing pretty good here. So two $30 Ender 3s going to be coming in that Core XY printer for a couple bucks, which is pretty cool. You know, to always have the parts where you need them. Okay. So we've got that. All right. Place the 40/40. It's kind of hard to understand, but it looks like I'm putting the 40/40 against the 40/40. I'm trying to review the diagram to look at the pictures. It looks like the bottom is all 40/40/40/40. That makes sense. Okay, so we got the 2 feet on the outside, which is what we did. That's great. Wonderful. It was powerful. It was great and everything else. Now the question is, we got more feet. So since we have feet, we're screwing feet together. These need 4 for them. Now I got to double check the instructions because it looks like there might be instructions to put more of these T-nuts in for other parts of it. And I got to check that because you don't want to be trying to put in the wrong type of T-nut. You want the structural, you want to be strong as possible, and everything wonderful. So it looks like there's a piece of instruction here. It's very kind of like opaque and things. It's like put these here, put those there. This we're talking the 40/40. The back only, it needs an extra screw. So what I was worried about was I needed an extra T-nut, and I do. And I need one in the top and the back. So I'll go ahead and put that in now. And you know what?